Next, Duncan Bureau is the Vice President of Global Sales for Air Canada, Canada's largest airline, where he is responsible for worldwide revenues across all sales channels and points of sale. He is a staunch supporter of this here program. Please welcome Duncan Bureau.
Great, welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Now, before I get started, I need all of your help. My mother will never believe I was here, so I'm going to do a selfie, and I need all of you to squeeze in. All right, so is everyone ready? So let's just go really quickly, because my mother will never believe this. All right, here we go. Okay, thank you for that. So my mother never believes me unless I have video or photographs, so thank you for sharing that with me. So Mr. Moderator, distinguished guests, speakers, leaders of today. You have a number of speakers today who have demonstrated the fervor and depth of commitment to sustainability that is shared by everyone in this room. Fellow Air Canada colleagues and future leaders, for the privilege of speaking today, I am honored and grateful to be here. I also have the privilege of being associated with this organization for a couple of years now, and I have the opportunity to bring my daughter with me here. Megan is now at her third event, so I'm very pleased and honored that she's here along with my wife, who I also have to recognize for obvious reasons. The baton is officially passed and the race is yours. As the 2016 Summer Olympics draw to a close, it is a fitting backdrop for leaders like yourselves sitting in this assembly who have been selected from hundreds of applicants. You should all give yourself an incredible round of applause. There are thought leaders, entrepreneurs, committed young leaders who will lead this country or lead your countries and the world in the future. More than 11,000 athletes from 206 national Olympic committees are in Brazil, representing the very best of their countries. As we have the opportunity to be with you here today, all of you represent the best of your countries. Your countries are looking for leaders that are compassionate, that are empathetic, and are citizens of the world. I am comforted and inspired, optimistic about the future when we have people like you who are leading the world we live in today. To some of you, it may feel like a daunting task, a heavy mantle, and there is no doubt that it will take a tremendous energy, courage, and fortitude to make tough decisions and do things that are right for you and for your communities and your families. There is no doubt it will take, but that is what more importantly is an enormous privilege, a calling to assume your role as a citizen of the world. I knew at a very early age I wanted to be part of an industry that was service-oriented, an industry that contributed in a meaningful way to the greater good, and an industry that was innovative and creative. Something bigger than myself. So why the aviation industry? Well, being a biophysicist, I don't think you get many opportunities to take selfies. So, the aviation industry is where I ended up. I never would have had the benefit of meeting and had the opportunity to connect in a real way with people around the world if I hadn't entered the aviation industry. These experiences collectively have shaped my worldview and my ability to appreciate and respect different opinions and cultural differences. The aviation industry is a proud contributor of the movement of humanity. This year, we'll move over 3.5 billion people. Last year was the first 100 years of commercial aviation, something that I'm sure all of you have had an opportunity to experience. The most obvious one is that the aviation industry has shrunk distances, both physical and cultural. A lot of you in this room traveled long distances to get here on an airline. I am going to check to see how many of you flew on Air Canada. Seriously, you've traveled a long way and you didn't do it on a steamboat. A very short time ago, the distances you traveled would have taken days to weeks to even days or weeks and you've done it in a matter of hours. The most important legacy, in my opinion, of the aviation industry is the role that it plays in facilitating some movement of human spirit. In 1948, as an example, the Berlin Airlift, which provided supplies to over 2 million Berliners and occupation forces. The role of organizations such as Aviation Without Borders have moved refugees around the world. Individuals also have had a massive impact on humanity. Individuals like Salva Dupe to educate the world about South Sudan and raise funds for the water of South Sudan, because where safe, clean water flows, education, economic development, and health spring up. There are many more examples that illustrate how aviation enhances life, but the more important discussion is, what is your path? What is your next steps? How will you, through your individual actions, help eradicate poverty, hunger, and build sustainable communities? I'm going to close with a quote that I came across. We have one precious life. Do something extraordinary today. Even if it's a tiny thing, a pebble can start an avalanche. Be the generation that inspires change once and for all. How will you start your avalanche? Thank you.